one?
Oh, actually.
Monumentally better.
Wow.
I still think we should open the fridge up, get the light and the cool.
That would be fun. That is. Oh, here we go.
Your
One
energy
sec.
bill would be fucked. Yeah, turn that one on. You know,
turn on the stove
that
light.
one takes away your blackheads.
Yeah.
Like all your pores go away when you turn on the oven light.
Yeah. Now
Hey,
we look
YouTubers,
beautiful.
just a little tip. You could actually just turn on your oven light. Don't accidentally turn on the fucking oven while your phone will get fucking real hot and melt.
That's the fun part about this podcast is it is recorded in my kitchen.
Not technically your kitchen. This is the dining room. I think this is like in a studio. This is the dining room. This isn't the kitchen. What the hell? There's no oranges over here at all. There's nothing.
I can move produce over here very doably. Very doably I could.
Oh yeah, for sure. You do got some up there. You got a tomato that looks like it's calling for help.
It is. No, yeah.
It actually looks like Bob the tomato grew up religious. Do you remember Bob the tomato?
Yeah.
Veggie Tales.
If you like to waltz with tomatoes. I don't know how it goes.
Me neither. That part I don't know. A squash can make you smile.
Anyway.
If your parents are religious but don't like talking to you, just watch this video to learn morals through food none of us eat in this house.
Yeah, there was an episode of there's a bunch of Jewish tomatoes. I saw a clip of it online and I was like, oh yeah, it is talking about like the plights of, Old Testament Jews.
Is
on
it
the show.
really?
Yeah, because they just tell Bible stories, and it's like.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they are
it's like the
pickles
slaves.
can't. Yeah,
and then it just shows a bunch of tomatoes.
Yeah, and they're like, the moral of that story is, and you're like, they're singing like while there's war.
Yeah,
they're like, we're fighting broccoli. Yeah, dude.
Dude. Yeah.
Oh my God! They're like, we're gonna learn about gluttony today from a woman who killed her whole family. Like, yeah, they do those. But honestly, that was the best Christian shit you could watch. Did you grow up? Because you said you grew up like.
Yeah, I grew up Christian in Iowa.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you ever see, Dr. Dino? Do you know Dr. Dino?
No, we had 3, 2, 1 penguins.
What the fuck's that?
Oh, dude, you gotta watch it.
Is it like Mr. Popper's Penguins?
No, it's like there's penguins in space, and they all just every issue is solved with them referring to the Bible.
Oh, really? They're like, Noah said, literally at the control board.
Literally,
Could you imagine if we're like a species, we get to space and we're there and they're like, what do we do? And he's like, actually, Noah said, and that like averts one thing. They're like, oh, the Bible is real again. Like the Bible goes in and out of being real, like fiction and nonfiction, where people are like I've noticed a lot of people being Christian again, and it's so weird.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who, when we grew up, these two kids were the coolest skateboarders, at our school. The best, I was
so
like, I want to be like that guy. And my buddy was telling me the other,
Yeah, you skated.
Well, no, I was like, I would hang out with them, but I definitely wasn't like, I wouldn't even film good. Like I couldn't even, you know what I mean? Like I would just, I couldn't even hang out. I was at my house. So I would just bring my board and I'm like, got this from Kmart.
That's so funny.
But I forgot what I can't remember what we were talking about, but
I don't even know. Who cares?
my buddies, the two cool skateboarders.
Tales.
One guy's still cool, and the other, my buddy goes, dude, I talked to him the other day, and the other day he was like, isn't like God good? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, and I grew up skating with this. Could you imagine the coolest kid, the first guy that got like a hand job, is also just being like, actually, Job once said, like, you know what I mean? You're just like, that's crazy.
Oh, dude, mega churches are crazy. Dude, they get people.
I've never went to a mega church. I've never been
I
think maybe once. I think no, because when I was in EMT, we had someone had passed out from too much Lord, and so we got to
crazy.
Take them out, and they were, dude. Everyone just kept singing. It was fucking eerie. I don't know why I'm remembering this.
I don't like that.
Dude, it was so weird. They we were just kind of doing it. They just kept singing because they're like, she's being taken care of, and I'm like, oh. We're like taking her out, and everyone's like, he's righteous, and I'm like, we're like trying to get this woman out of here, and they were like, they weren't like dead. They were like, but we were definitely they were on a stretcher, and I feel like where everyone would at least be like, hey, let's take a break, but everyone is like, hey, we have a baseball game to get to for our little son after this. Like, so churches are weird, dude.
Anyway,
churches are weird.
Back to 3, 2, 1 penguins.
Bro, it's almost my podcast. Dude, we get all over the place.
Gives a fuck?
My ADHD mixed with smoking weed is not helpful.
We love that. I love that. We love that. I have multiple personalities.
Do you?
No, I just like saying we love that because people say it on the internet.
Yeah, but we do. But also, who are you talking to yourself? It's like maybe that's it's like
it's a great point.
We have a little bit of something going on up there.
Yeah.
I'm talking to somebody.
That's a great point too.
That was what the guy from Frightened Rabbit said. He was like, "Do you believe in God?" He's like, "I'm talking to somebody." And I'm like, "Fuck, that kind of makes more sense than Mr. Popper's Penguin." What were you talking about? 3, 2, 1 penguins.
3, 2, 1 penguin. Yeah.
So they're being space, and there's like they're like, what happens?
We do come back.
Like
to
what
it.
happens?
I don't know. I just remember.
Because I'll talk about Dr. Dino afterwards.
Okay, dude, I want to hear about Dr. Dino. My favorite part of the whole show was that during the theme song, they're like, Zidril, Midgel, Fidgel, that was their names. And then one of them was just...
That was their names?
And then one of the penguins was retarded, and they would go, Kevin! And then it cut to like the retarded penguin who had like fucked up eyes and was fat and had like a flat face. Clearly just a guy with Down syndrome. It was just like,
oh
it was
my
like,
God.
Fidgel,
do
Fidgel,
penguins
Midgel.
get that? Do they?
I don't know, dude.
It seemed like it did.
Kevin, and then he was just like, and
my
every
God.
episode they're like, he's retarded.
Bro, dude, someone pull that up. Watch
Look
that. Dude,
it
I
up.
have to
Pull
see
it
this.
up. Pull it up.
Hey, someone pull that up.
All
real
right,
quick. You open the fridge, it's on in there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'll show you after this. It's crazy. I'll put the graphics up on this episode. No, but there's just a retarded penguin, and like, they didn't even try to hide it. That he was just like, there's like one of the penguins was retarded. It was just like a thing.
Yeah.
They all like regular names, and then they're like, and then there's a special one over there.
Whoa. And I guess it's like they're trying to, like, they're just including everybody. They're like, hey, if you're going to be religious, we should include everybody.
And penguins are black and white, so the show was very ahead of its time racially.
Penguins are all, they all look the exact same. There's
all a bunch of mixed kids.
Yeah, they're all honestly, I wonder, penguins do look exactly the same when they're like, here's how they tell them apart. I'm like, they don't know.
Yeah. Also, welcome to the Hardly Working podcast.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I like the name. Hardly
I
Working.
like it too. I think it's a great name. Because we are hardly working.
I'm never
we're talking
working
about jobs.
So do you want to, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Unless you want to talk about Dino Dad or whatever the fuck.
It's just Dr. Dino. And
Dr.
it was
Dino?
like, I grew up with my buddy that I was telling you about earlier
Let's
that
go.
I feel like you would love. My buddy Devin, his mom, who did a total 180. Not like this at all anymore. She's cool as fuck. But when we were kids, she'd be like, hey, what are you guys watching? And we're like, Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, sick. I got this. Whoa, what's this? And would put this DVD of Dr. Dino, who is this guy that was like,
oh no,
guys, there was no such thing as dinosaurs. Those are just big lizards before God decided we should die. Like, I mean, it was like,
that, dude.
and so like lizards would get really big and we would watch that. And like, so that was the kind of level of religious I grew up with. But
Dinosaur Deniers are my favorite, dude.
oh yeah. Yeah. Cause but also,
I'm all in on it.
but also, I don't know, like fucking, I don't know, dude. I ain't never seen a dinosaur. And when I walk, dude, it's flat as fuck, dude.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
Dude, wouldn't it be crazy though? Like, how dumb would you feel if somehow, like, because I've never been to, like, we do the test, we've seen the test, they put whatever.
Yeah.
But if they did prove it, and then you had to be like, dude, of course it's look at, duh, like I was kidding, like I was reading the book wrong, like that would be crazy.
I went to like a summit, like a unofficial youth gathering in high school about like how the dinosaurs were made up and not real.
Yeah,
I went to we went to a whole thing. We went to like a speaker about that.
That's crazy,
and
dude.
I mean, they brought up some good points.
They're just funny.
I think the whole thing, like the only thing from the presentation I remember in high school was they were like, carbon dating gives you like 8 numbers, and they're always just like, hey, let's do the millions of years ago one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the Earth. I'll buy into this is the one pseudoscience thing I get into. I don't think the Earth is millions of years old.
That's dumb. Of course it is.
I think maybe 10,000.
No.
15,000,
I wish I was smart enough to fight you right now, but I don't. I'm just
really?
I'm like Captain America before he got the transformation. I'm like, I promise my heart knows
really?
I'm right.
You disagree with me? I don't.
10,000 years old. Do you know how long it takes to form a planet and all? I mean, and fucking what do you even? No offense, but what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, it's like
that's a good point.
I think it's a billion of you. I think
really?
this planet. Pull it up.
I don't know, dude. Climate's
I don't know.
just
Dude,
changing
I'll tell you. Here,
so quick.
I can look it up with my phone. Hold on. Let me just.
How old is like the official like scientific number?
Hardly working. I'm the only one working on this podcast.
Dude,
Jamie,
pull it up.
Jamie. I think his name's copyright.
I do want to get into your work history at some point though.
Who cares? No, I got it. No. Damn it. What were we looking up?
How old is the planet?
How old is the Earth? I mean, come on. Yeah, 4.5 billion years
4.5?
You thought it, dude, you're
That's
like
a long time.
Dude.
That's a long time. That's a lot of planet. That's a lot of planet, dude.
That's so crazy. You're like, oh my God, how old are you? 4? She's like, I'm 96. Like you're
billion.
So off. I'm 96 billion.
No, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I didn't know the facts, but I knew that like, I don't even think that like, I don't think anything on the planet is that like, I don't think anything is under 10,000 on this planet.
Really?
Except for like, maybe like, cars and other
stuff.
stuff. Like,
yeah.
You know, like
no, that's fair. That
stuff
checks
we've
out.
made, but no, everything's just been here for so long. Are you scared at all that like you just like that you like I'm so glad that we figured out in your kitchen and not on a bigger podcast. You saying that it was 10,000, like that's how many hours.
I'll gladly
10,000 is how
backpedal.
many hours you're supposed to practice a craft, and you're like, that's also how long the earth been earthing.
Dude,
like that's so funny.
let me politely backpedal from that statement
You have to.
that I actually don't believe in that strongly.
You're like, but maybe 21.
Yeah. Well, that's Iowa education for you, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah,
So
they
where
definitely.
are you from? Are you from Southern Missouri or Southern Illinois?
No, I'm from
Neither.
No, yeah. I'm just like outside of St. Louis. It's like probably like 40 minutes outside of St. Louis, High Ridge, Missouri.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not a small town, but it's like
Yeah.
a small area, if
Yeah, I
that
get
makes
it.
sense or whatever. But so I lived there, and that's where I did all my job. That's where I also
yeah.
I even eventually started doing stand up because I worked at this restaurant, and they bought me that Judy Carter book. Have you ever heard of it? The Comedy Bible, I think it's called, or something. Or no, it's
Dude, my parents bought me, for Christmas this year, my parents bought me, like, How to Do Stand-Up Comedy, the book.
Oh yeah,
They bought me, like, 3 of them this year. I'm 8 years in.
but they think that you're always.
I've headlined clubs. I don't, not a lot, but I've
Yeah.
headlined a few clubs. I'm like, I'm doing it.
How old
Ma.
are your parents though?
50s.
Books,
late 50s.
Books to them, some people are real, but books are just decoration. Like my house,
Yeah.
I literally thought I saw in encyclopedias, and I remember being a kid being like, I bet before I made memories, my dad would just sit there and like learn all of the A words. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything about every A thing you could
Yeah.
fucking learn. And I'm like, no, they just have them. No one reads.
Yeah.
Or the 90s parents. Like they were just
Yeah.
buying homes and fucking up the economy and telling us we're bitches.
Yeah, no, but they bought me books that's like, how to write a joke, how to do stand-up comedy in the books.
My
like,
dad definitely early on was like, hey, look, check this out. I bought you this book. And it was like a pamphlet
Yeah.
book. I was like, he's like, I got it signed. I was like, why?
One of them is like the business of stand-up comedy, and it's written in like the 1980s, like 1989.
Yeah.
And it's so funny where it's like, here's how to reach
The
out to
book's
clubs.
like, call Tony. It's one number in there. They're like, Tony
Yeah.
books all of them.
He books all the chains,
That's
all the improvs.
80s. Yeah, all the improvs.
All the improvs.
There's 6 comedy clubs in America.
It's literally like, get a tape, and it's like on VHS. It's VHS.
Yeah.
It's when you would have to mail a physical VHS tape to a club and be
Yeah.
like, here's one of the 4 chains.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to, in Zany, Chicago, they have like a letter written by Ellen DeGeneres. It's like 1973, I think. And it's a
Was it
handwritten.
rudely worded?
But it's no, but it's
Just kidding. Because but what's crazy is I grew up, I've always loved Ellen. Dude, she was the first lesbian
sick.
kid. I think she was the first female kiss on television. So you got to give her that.
Yeah.
And she's funny. She goes like this over tables. I did really
funny.
like her, but I've heard she's mean, which sucks. But like as a person just watching,
Yeah.
I've always been I really liked Ellen a lot. Like
Yeah.
growing up, I always thought she was cool as fuck.
She
I was
is
like,
cool as fuck.
That joke, she's like,
Ellen
remember that
fucks.
joke, dude? Remember that dude? She had that joke that I'm gonna butcher, but she's like,
Yeah.
and he went out there, dog people. I was like, woo. She's like, yeah, me too. Me too. Hey, who's out there's cat people? Everyone class, yeah. Me too. Me too. That was just like one of the earliest, I feel like, pandering jokes. Like it was like, and when you, that was like, early on, that shit was
Yeah.
like funky stand up. Like you doing stand up in big pants.
I love it. I've watched her
Silk.
Carson appearance a few times. I think it's really good.
You've what?
Watched her Johnny Carson appearance.
Oh, dude, that was, yeah. I thought you said I walked in my parents a couple times.
No.
That must have been a Freudian think
No,
slip.
not you're a
yeah.
freak.
So
You're
you've
a
seen
freak
her a
out.
lot?
I've seen her early stuff.
Oh, cool, yeah. I just
But-
know her from Ellen when I'd be sick watching her home.
But all I was saying
Scaring
is
the
it was-
shit out of Jennifer Aniston.
It was like 1973 before like they didn't have VHSs.
Yeah.
So it's just she got booked at Zany's headline, and literally all she did was wrote a letter being like, "Hey, I just did the Comedy Castle here in Detroit. I would love to come down to Chicago and headline your club. Dave said I'm funny, funnier than this letter, I swear. Ha ha ha." It's literally just that. It's like 4 sentences. Signed Ellen, and they were like, "Yeah, you can headline our club."
What?
Because they didn't. Because it was the 70s. Stand-up comedy was relatively new.
Yeah.
Comedy clubs got invented in the
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
And how do we vet people? I don't know. The cell phones weren't around. Phones sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to give you my number.
Yeah.
Write a letter in the mail. And they
Yeah.
were like, yeah, here's $1,000. Come down into Chicago and we'll
Yeah,
just
and
believe
it literally
you.
was a network of people, and then
Yeah,
also
there's
it's
like 8 people
and
doing
then
it.
also people were like, "Were you guys doing mics?" They're like, "No, I was sitting by my phone, like waiting for like probably a comedy club to call,
Oh,
because you
dude.
can't be away from your phone, and they don't have answering machines yet." They're like, "God damn it!" Like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I,
mean,
yeah.
You can do a full-time. All I
But it
do is
also
write
probably
letters.
wasn't easy. That's the thing too. Is and people always want to compare. Is it's like as and I think it's fair to compare like that shit.
Generations.
For sure, generations, but especially with this stand-up thing, is I would take now versus like how much that like back then it would seem more streamlined.
Yeah.
I'll take now and the fact that you can like make your own way as opposed to back then like talk about gatekeeping, dude. If people are just like one night, like we don't like you, don't come back. Like we were hanging out last night, and there was no one at the mic, and you weren't there, but Owen went on stage, and they're like, dude, let's scoot up and fucking just like not laugh because we're all it's all comics there. And that's what we do to each other. Yeah. But also, if there was no accountability, like back then, I'm sure that people were just like, we all fucking hate. There's not even a cameras outside. It's the 80s. So I'll take today for sure. Because also, it's, I think it just, and also back then, someone could watch people and you could literally steal. Like you could steal so fucking easy. And you know people did. You know people did.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why the term like hack.
Now people
so
even
big.
if we're like, I feel like if we even get near each other, we're like, hey, does that seem like parallel thought? Like I feel like we're so respectful. We really are like a lot. Not everyone, but I feel like most comics are like me and Zach has that new joke that it was something I was telling him a story about my life. Yeah. And he made me laugh so hard. I was like, you have to do that bit. And he was like, oh, yeah. And it's like, it's hilarious. And it's like, then he'll help me. It's like, I think we live in a better world now. Whereas before, people would be like, there was so little gold that they were like, mine. And you're hiding it. And they're doing bits. And like, now you get to be yourself, which is way cooler.
It's nice.
But they also lived in a time, too, where in high school, like we kind of lived in that. I feel like I had to fit into a group. And then you tried to figure out who you were. Whereas nowadays, you get to be who you are, and then you find your group. So I feel like that's a little bit better.
Yeah, it is. You're right. So what kind of group were you in high school, I guess? You said skater earlier.
Yeah. Well, again, no, I wasn't a skater. I didn't because I also wasn't allowed to do stuff a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I would hang out sometimes. Yeah. But I was like kind of like my parents. The reason I played sports was not because I loved sports.
What was your best sport?
It was that I was the best at?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, dude. I'm like
the bench.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm like, dude. I literally I was also like not. I wouldn't say the cool kid, but I was like a teacher called me a glue kid. She was like, I see you talk to everybody. Like I just like people. Yeah. But whenever I played football, I had 2 cheers from the cheerleaders as a guy who's like third string, but like I'm just friends with everybody. Like it's just like they're, you know what I mean. One of them I might have made up while we were hanging out with the cheerleaders, like B, and we were just doing it. But whenever our team sucked so bad that when they'd lose, sometimes they're like, "Will you just do the Bobby cheer?" and everyone would love it. Like, and I'm like, I turn around, I'm not on the field. But I played volleyball, and I don't even think I was good at that. I'm not very
volleyball. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm not very athletically inclined because I'm not. I'll play like, dude, we could play catch.
Yeah.
But I get under pressure. I just fucking. I don't like that, and I also am not. I'll be competitive if like I'm actually gonna. Me and you actually have to fist fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, they're like, I beat you. I'm like, cool, you beat me. Okay, sick. I don't have a competitive gene in me at all. Even whenever competitions with stand up, I fucking hate it.
I don't like it either. I hate it too. I hate what it makes me become.
Even with roast battles, now I think everyone's doing them like fun. Like everyone realizes they're just fun.
Yeah.
But for years, I was like, I'm not doing it because like people would literally be like, were you serious? And I'm like, no, dude, like we're doing a bit. Here's the thing. I've just given up on like, I definitely feel like I'm like, if someone's like offended, you have to like understand like that they're just going to be offended. I had a joke about someone sticking a finger in my ass, and someone asked me after the show if I had permission from the person who stick the finger in my ass if I could tell that story. And I was like, what? And of course, the person
it's a roast battle.
No, it was a show. It's just a joke I do. Oh, okay. And I was just talking about this person, and the comic was like, does that person have permission? No one knows. I just say a name. They're like, does that person have permission? I was like, what? You know what I mean? And I said yes because they did. I was just being honest, but yeah, I don't know. So people are. It's weird. That's why I don't like roast. I also don't want to offend people.
I love
even
roast.
When I was in high school, I like being funny. Friendly. I don't want to make. Though I wasn't in class being like, look, you dipshit. Like if anything, I was like, you're a fucking asshole. Because I liked pretty much everybody. I got along with the teachers. Like I got along with everybody.
We gotta get into this. What was your job in high school? What did you do?
My first job was like I'm sure. Well, I would like mow dude. I would like mow yards when I was a kid. I think I mowed like yards for people that probably like hit on like. Kissed my dad, maybe like my dad. Like you're like, man, they're like, really? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like just like neighbors that you're like, why are they so nice? And
shit!
But I did that, and then eventually, like a couple summers, I would like. I mean, I have no.
You had to break this down. Was your dad just a player?
I don't know. He got along with a lot of people. I don't know. And so, but I built decks for one time. Like not like
I like the idea of. Sorry, I love the idea of like 12-year-old, however old, like I don't know, 15-year-old you is like. damn, business is booming. And your dad's like, oh, God, I got to fuck the neighbor lady so my son can get work.
Bro. Oh, God, Jesus. Tell me about your day again.
He's like, oh, if I only could get rid of my son for an hour.
Yeah.
Hey, make him mow your lawn, come back to my place.
I'll mow your lawn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't hear you over your son's tractor. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry.
They're adding grass. They're making the yard bigger. They're starting to like make a bigger yard so they can fuck.
You go to their place.
Yeah.
They go to
no,
your
I
dad's
don't know.
place.
I like to. Yeah, who knows? I also the other night when I remembered a wrong comic, so my memory is hazy. I have no idea.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I did I mowed lawns and then I helped a guy do like light construction. Like he kind of taught me how to paint and cut in and do that shit. And then I was like my first job. Oh, then I was a temp at a place with like other like felons, dude. I was a temp trying to save up for a skateboard. I was like 16 years old. I like had to sign a release.
What was the job?
Literally, like we would fold up stuff all day. It was like folding up stuff for like coal. You would just like organize stuff. It was like a temp job at this like
I love that
warehouse. My parents were like, if you want a skateboard, you got to work with people who've been addicted to drugs. And so I'm like going to lunch with people, being like, how old are you? Like you don't even you have no guess. If you're
That's
like 70, I'd be
crazy.
like, okay. And so we would go to I would do jobs like that. And then my first like job though was I worked at this restaurant that burned down.
Insurance fraud.
Everyone wonders. I've just
Dude, every time something burns down
it's like
in a
but
small
you can't
town,
even have it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
everyone's like insurance fraud.
Yeah.
We go straight to it. The bowling alley in my hometown burnt down. We're all like, how lucrative was that bowling alley?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also, I don't know. You never know.
We
but
go
also,
straight to it every goddamn time.
I mean, that's also what everyone thinks. You know what I mean? And there
Yeah.
could be like I mean, if there's money to be had, people gonna have it.
Yeah.
But I was like a busboy at this place, and I was just like, I mean, I'm pretty much. I feel like I made sure that like no one hated me, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would just go off.
Were you doing
this
bits?
before? I was doing bits. We do literally me and
What were
this.
some of them? Break it down.
Easy, stupid, like high school stuff is we would stand there and I'd be like, we would be like bussers of like, it's like a nice, fake nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And so we'd go around and I'd have waters and I'd give them to each table and I would go, give me an accent. Like this right before I'm starting to like do stand up, I'd be like,
no.
give me an accent to do to each table. So she'd be like, okay. So each table I would be like she'd be like, Root, be so Southern. And then she's like, okay, go be like, do like the gay accent. And so I'd go to all these tables and then if they had to sit next to each other, she's like, you got to do it. So I'd go over there. I'm like, hi guys, y'all good on water? Like it was just that,
So
but it's like
funny.
very high school bit. So I would do that. I would
Yeah.
I loved scaring people, or like if a new person walked in, like if there was like a
So
new,
good.
I'd be like, hey, like the walk in, if it shuts, like don't let that shut, and it just shuts, like, "Ah!" Like,
Yeah.
So I'm like if I would have done stand up, I would 100% still be a guy that wears like a t-shirts that are like the gun show. Like I like stupid ass silly bits.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, but I wasn't even smoking at this time. I wasn't even like smoking weed or anything too. So I was just fucking vibing off of like Christian energy.
If you had like a
Catholic, I guess.
I just see you as like a corporate guy, and you're the guy who wears like the tie with an alligator on it, and you're like pretty silly, huh?
Yeah. And it like when you go like this, it's not an alligator. So I go, the boss is sitting over here. You know what I mean? When you go like this, it's totally an alligator.
Yeah. It's like some weird tie, or like you're the one with like weird like socks on,
We-
you know? Dude,
Yes.
corporate guys in silly socks are such a vibe.
You know,
so funny.
I just see those guys. I'm like, you have a sexual assault suit against you right now. You can just see a guy who has like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle socks and the nicest suit, and you're like, no one raised you right.
Yeah.
Something
What
you
is
could
this?
just tell you're a bad man.
Something about that where it's
Yeah.
like they're trying too hard to be like silly and cool.
Yeah.
But I think here's the thing. I think you do like 10 years in corporate America and like your brain shuts off.
Right, and you're like, my only fun I'm allowed to have in the whole world that I live in is underneath the bottom of my jeans, and if I cross my legs,
Yeah.
people know. People might look at me because if we all look the same.
Yeah.
People might look over and be like, "Oh, dude, isn't that fucking Batman on your fucking sock?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if that was the only interesting thing about you?
Yeah,
and then you take that group of guys out, and because they know you as the Batman socks guy, you're sitting in the audience, and there's a lull, and he's like, "You're gay," and then you just fucking get roasted, and then you go back to work, and everyone calls you fucking, "Hey, what's up, Batman?" And then you become a loser.
Yeah.
And then you try to get cooler socks, and no one cares. During
it's so
Halloween,
funny.
you got ones that light up.
Yeah. That funny
And they
shit.
just wish they were us. That would be me. I'm not making fun of that person.
No,
that
me
guy
neither.
would be me if I wouldn't have become a comic.
That's me, 100%. I'd be the guy who's like, dude, I got to make the 25-year-old secretary laugh, and I'm in a loveless marriage. I'm like, come on, baby, this is funny, huh?
Yes.
Give me the giggle my wife won't.
Yes.
Give me the affirmation that I'm funny. That's
Dude, doing
left my
street
love
jokes and
life.
selling them as your own. Like, you know, I heard a guy say like a meme the other day, and then was like literally was like, you know what I mean? And I was like, I can't. It was a word for word meme that was so funny that you're like, that was my straight up thought. I'm like, yeah, they're boring people.
45 plus.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like 50s, 45 plus. Around that price, like that age range. I don't know why I said price range. That age range, you just fall in love with regurgitating what you saw on Reddit that day.
Yeah.
Or like whatever. Like memes, street jokes. I mean, old guys will stop me after the shows. I'm sure you get this all the time. They're like, hey, that's pretty good. Here's one of mine. And you're like, oh, God, I'm just trying to get through the other 5 guys that want to buy merch from me right now.
100%.
You know?
I actually had a guy, when I did those shows in Spokane, this guy comes up to me and he goes, hey, man, pretty good, but can I tell you something? And I go, yeah. He goes, dude, you're pretty funny, but I was going to say that firefighting stuff, it's so funny. I think you got to talk more about that. And I go, okay, are you done? And he goes,
it's
yes.
the worst.
And I go, here, man. And this is like a new, just like me, like just trying to be more honest who I am. And I just go, honestly, it was a pretty good point. And I go, but if you don't do the thing you're giving a critique on, I don't really give a fuck. He goes, oh, dude, I'm sorry. He goes, I thought you were really fun. Like, he just changed his attitude, and he was, because he, like, wanted to hang, and I was so weirded out. Do you got to do your thing?
Yeah, no, yeah.
But yeah, it was just so weird to watch him do that, and I asked the hostess, we were, like, walking by, and I go, Tori, was that too mean? She goes, I loved it. She was like, because some people need to be put in their place.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, they need to be put in their fucking place.
When people write comments on very little on like YouTube and stuff, I'm starting to just say what I feel. Like this guy wrote something that goes, pretty good. Your podcast doesn't need to be 40 minutes. And I go, pretty good compliment. I was like, your compliment didn't need to be this long. And I was like, you start telling people, and he didn't comment back because most people just want to like vent to everybody. Yeah. And if you really try not to take it personally, it's hell. It's as Christian as you can be, honestly.
No, forgiveness. So here's my question. I'm gonna
guide it, bro.
I might cut in on the second half just because we need to transition in. So talking back to that guy at the show, pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it feels good.
Sick.
Feels great to talk back to someone.
Lighter. I literally felt like better. Like I think.
Have you ever do that at a job? You ever like?
Unload on someone at a job.
You ever
or like tell someone I think.
Yeah. Customer or coworker.
Oh, let me think.
Do you have a favorite crazy coworker? You can do that too.
A favorite? No, because here's the thing. Like when I worked at those jobs, I
were the crazy coworker.
No, well, I wasn't the crazy coworker. I mean, maybe a little bit, but like I did. Like I remember I was a bar back at this one place in St. Louis, and I was like, it was like this pizza. What the fuck? I can't remember what it's called. Felix's. Yeah. And I was bar backing, but I would smoke weed with. I'm not kidding you. Everyone from the owners down, everyone from the kitchens, and everyone knew because I would just always bring weed because. If you can take more breaks and I'm out weed, I'm like, I'll make it up with the tips or whatever.
Yeah.
But I would go out and I would smoke weed with everybody.
And smoking them out.
Smoking all of them out. So then also if I'm not at work, someone would like help me with my slack because we're smoking weed.
Nice.
But sometimes the trash would get over. We're busy. And it would get overpiled. And this one girl just looked at me and she wasn't trying to be rude. I don't mean shit to her, but she just looked at me. She goes, you are so bad at your job. But it was at this point where you're doing comedy and you were like, she's right. I don't care, but I don't come in here. I just come here to try to gather. And it's also like when I've had other serious jobs, I've had jobs that are real. Yeah. And so when you're working at a pizza joint, you're like, yeah, I've worked at places where the trash is overpiled too. People are still having fun. We're all smoking weed. Sorry you don't smoke weed, but so I've never been a good employee. I used to shit for so long at Sports Authority that they would be like trying to find me. And then
That's so funny.
The door would lock, and you can't break in on someone.
Yeah, dude.
Shit. You'll go to jail.
Yeah, that's an HR issue.
Yeah, I actually one time I was shitting for so long, the guy goes, Bobby, I know you're in the bathroom. What do you want to do? Go home? And I go, yeah. He goes, oh, all right. And I go, can I go home? And he goes, yeah, I said it. And he let me go home because I was
That's so funny.
And I was just hungover and barely shitting. I was just laying on the toilet like this for and I woke up. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. I'm a bad employee, except for when I was like real jobs. I've had jobs where I was like, this is a serious job.
No, it's always the early jobs that don't matter.
Yeah, it's fun. There's something about fucking off at a job that then whenever like I have to be at a Walmart now and watch kids be like unsafe to where you're like, as just a human, you're like, you shouldn't be running, and you kind of have to be like, there's no one else around. Like you kind of have to like. Be like, I was that guy. Like, you have to have understanding. Like, I saw kids like, dude, these one kids, when my special came out, I literally turned my phone off and I was like, while it like releases, I'm just going to go I'm not going to check the views.
That's so hard.
I'm just going to go for a walk and try to be like, this is like a new part of your life. Like, your special's out, fucking go for a walk.
That's hell.
And I was walking home, and I'm not kidding you. As soon as I was like a couple hours, I'm coming home, and I'm like, man, I'm feeling really good. I'm ready for the next chapter. And all of a sudden, these kids drove by, and they had like airsoft guns, and they're like, they shot the shit out of me. It's like, oh! And at first, I felt myself being like, get back here, you! And I literally started laughing, where I was like, that's how comedy is. It'll always be like, you had your special come out. You're also still gonna get airsoft shot.
Yeah,
but I was also like, I'm not mad at those kids at all, because like, yeah, I'm a target. But I never did shit like that.
Yeah,
but I
that's
know
crazy.
I hung out with people. We did some shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like, God bless. You know what I mean?
I never
Like,
did
if that's the
anything
worst
crazy
thing
like
you
that.
did, sometimes you are the thing that's getting made fun of or getting shit. And you're like,
Yeah.
hey, that's just the circle of life, bro. It's just
Amen,
how
brother.
it works. Yeah, man.
It's beautiful, man.
It is. It really
it's
is
a beautiful goddamn thing.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, man. So you were what was your job at Sports Authority? Was that?
I was such a bad employee. They moved. I literally worked in every single area except for like firearms, probably.
What is Sports Authority? Oh, is it like Dick's
It's like
Sporting
a Dick's
Goods?
Sporting Goods,
Okay,
but less
gotcha.
good. They went under.
That's so
They
funny.
went under, baby.
That was because they're hiring people like you.
Yes, I know, dude. Oh, for sure. But here's the place. When I came in, I was 15 minutes early this is when you still like care. And I was like, I think I had just started stand up maybe.
Yeah.
And so I remember like coming in 15 minutes early, and I remember the manager going, "You're here pretty early." And I was like, isn't that like a good sign or whatever?
Yeah. Shouldn't you like that?
And after she hired me, I was like, I'll never come in on time again, dude. I would
yeah.
always be late.
Once you lower that bar, it
Yes.
can't go back.
And I'm not kidding you. So my first day, I haven't thought about this in forever. So my first day at Sports Authority, they were like, hey, it's really important if you sell extended coverage plans on like pretty much everything in the store.
Yeah.
And if you insoles, you get money back for all that stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't care. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
I think I was even in like a band at this time. Like we had like one practice.
Yeah.
And so I was like, who gives a fuck? I don't care about money. And literally the first day, everyone that came in, I just was like, oh, I'll just put these little gel inserts in. And everyone's like, damn, this feels good. I was like, I put these in. You don't have to buy them. I sold so many that the next day I came in, all the managers were waiting for me. And I was like, am I in trouble? They go, follow us. Bobby? They were like, no one in the region. So here's the numbers. Like they were like, and honestly, they shouldn't have done it, because then it made me feel so gross that then I stopped selling. They were then like the next day they were like, what's going on with you, man? I was like, I had like a Doc Ellis moment where I was like on acid, fucking pitching no hitters, selling like ECPs and everything.
Yeah.
And then they told me about, and then the next day I'm like just sober. I was like, I can't do it again. So, and I hated selling
That's
stuff.
crazy.
Because I just like saw my family members that I knew up that you would see people coming in and they're like, they could barely make it by having their kid play a sport. They're buying cleats because their feet keep growing.
Yeah.
They're mad. And I'm like, hey, if you want to put them, they're like, I don't want it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not going to be like, actually their kid's foot. I'm like, I'm not going to sell you stuff, because I have family members that I know were like, had a hard time putting people through sports.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to for me to make an extra buck, I don't give
So
a
not
fucking
worth
shit.
it.
Even for assholes. Even if assholes came in, I would still just be like, namaste. But now I don't care. Now, dude, I parked at Cap City the other day, and this fucking guy.
Beautiful comedy club, by the way.
Beautiful comedy club. And I parked, and I was in my spot, and this fucking big ass truck not only took up a bunch of space, but like parked in, so I had to like literally do this. And there's a new part of me that almost keyed in like a fucking woman's name into this. I almost did it, but then I was like, no, don't become that guy. You're not that guy. But it's just like eventually. You get mad at people. Just people take advantage of shit a lot. People take advantage of shit.
You learn how to like the good part of a job is you fucking learn how to cope with you learn how to like compartmentalize or like get over it.
Yeah.
Some people you can tell they've never worked a day in their life because they just like things will mess them so much, and I'm like.
And as long as you're nice, that's all I care about. If you don't have a good work ethic, but you're like, or not nice, but like a good person. Some people have never had a job and just know how to be a good person. Yeah. But some people have no idea how to act. Like my dad was that dude, like when you walk into a restaurant and it says like hostess, wait for the hostess to be seated. Yeah. Flies past it. Picks his table, makes a problem for the people in the back, and he's just like, I want to sit here. And it's like those kind of guys. It's like the entitlement is crazy. I'm like, and now when I work those jobs, you're like, I would never do that to somebody. You know what I mean? Because no one's ever, I don't think my dad ever worked in that industry.
Also, you need to justify this person's existence as a hostess too. A little bit.
And just the slight rules. Like, and my dad's it's so weird.
Smallest things.
The people who are such rule people are the people who break the rules. Like if they're like, you know what I mean? They're like, take your shoes off in the house. But then like they'll walk in and they'll be like, well, my shoes I like them.
Well, yeah.
I like how they fit.
Well, dude, I'm a door guy at a club, and we do like sometimes some of the shows, not all of them. Some of the shows do assigned seating, and you have people be like, "Oh, hey, I don't like the way the seat actually is."
Who cares?
And then they move to another table, and then you see another, and they're like, "Well, I reserved table in the second row."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh yeah, it's right." And you're like, "Hey man, you need to move." Well, I didn't like the first row. Okay, well that's fine. You purchased front row tickets.
Yeah.
Like you there's a map online. You got to see where your tickets were.
Yeah.
You made the decision cognitively, and you purchased the tickets.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you may not have wanted them, but that's what you have, and these other people are now furious at me.
Yeah.
So just go. Sit in the fucking front
And
row.
what's weird is that people know. I feel like it's weird where people try to take power and like to use that complex. I do think it's one of the grossest complexes is people trying to do that. But when you go to like a fucking sporting event, that same person is gonna go right to their seat, and if there's some open, they'll take it. But they would never try to be like, usher, because it's too much of a problem, and they know they're not powerful enough.
Gosh.
So it's weird watching them try it in a comedy club because people are like that's why my dad did it at an Applebee's. He would never do it if we went to like a nice place, but he's like, I'm better than an Applebee's. Dude. People show you where they think they're better than the club.
I got a story for you involving St. Louis. So I'm a huge Steelers fan. I don't get too much into sports. But I went to St. Louis the last year the Rams were in St. Louis.
Oh, cool.
Everyone was boycotting because they were all mad that they're fucking leaving because fuck the Rams and LA teams. I hate them.
It's got like fuck Kroenke shirts on it.
Yeah, dude. Hated that shit. And I hated that the Rams left St. Louis too. But we went to a Steelers game there because we're going to see the Rams their last season in St. Louis.
Gross. I love coffee this much. I'm like,
dude, get it in, dude. Get it in. And so we went to see the Rams, and all the Rams fans were boycotting outside. So we were in like the top of the dome against the back wall, worst seats possible.
Honestly.
Drove 6 hours for dog shit seats. Dude, not even. No,
I think it's fun being up.
It is fun, but we were too far back.
Yeah, you are watching the game. You feel like you're playing like that fucking old school.
It literally, it was hard to see details of the game. Like it was like uncomfortable. But the end zone seats were all open because all the season holders had left.
Yeah.
So we were like, fuck it, we're gonna go down there. And I told my mom, dad, I was the one who coordinated. I was like, let's go down there. There's like 3 empty rows. Let's just go down. No one sat there in the first half. At halftime, let's go up. You know, and the Steelers team said, you know, guys who had won Super Bowls, like players we really cared about on the team. Mm-hmm. And so we did. We went down at halftime, and there's all these season ticket holders there. And like, I just remember, like, everyone knew what we were doing. We walked right by security. They knew what we were doing. And everyone was cool with it. And we're like, we're cheering for the Steelers. We understand you're all cheering for the Rams. We'll be polite and cool.
Oh, yeah. That shit I don't understand at all.
Well, no, but like we're in like the VIP or like, you know what I mean? Like seats that cost 4 times as much.
It's a fucking jersey. I've never even kind of understood that. Even only high school. High schoolers are allowed to be like, you're from a different school than me because I'm on the team. But no, I've never. I hate when people are like,
oh, dude, I talk shit at sporting events too.
Yeah, do you?
Oh,
let's never go. I hate, dude. That sucks.
Oh, dude, it's the most fun.
Here's what I like.
That's where I get to be mean.
I like because I was with a guy who he might have been a Steelers fan or whatever, but because I can't remember. We're leaving a game the opposite team, and this guy in front of us, they were like, he had like whatever jersey on, and they yelled. They're like, "Hey, fucking give me Tony," and the guy thinks he's about to get made fun of, and he turns around and he's like. And they both had the same jersey, so he was like, "Oh!" So like that's what I like when it's like it's got to be fun and then fucking around.
I'm not shit talking with other people in the stand.
Okay, cool.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, no, that's so weird.
I'm yelling
to me.
funny
It's a
commentary.
stranger. You're like, "Fuck your city you live in."
No, that's what I'm trying to get at with the story. Dude, if you can yell
Sorry,
at the game.
a lot.
No, dude, don't. I'm cool with it. Yell at the game. That's the fun part.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're like, hey, your fucking defense sucks.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
But that is the most fun to be like, hey, you're supposed to try to score the ball.
Yes.
Like just dumb shit like that. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, I didn't. Your defense was fucking D&D teams, dude. This is fucking.
Yeah, he had his hand on his cock. He couldn't tackle.
Yeah.
No, that's shit. That
that's
doesn't
cool.
make sense.
Because then, then what's fun is that makes sense to me because when I was a kid, I would see that a little bit. Because then you have two guys who are like, we'll argue while facing the same way. Like they're like, oh yeah, but and then they scored and they're like. Oh, like you know what I mean? Like that shit's fun to me. Well, but watching guys get in actual arguments, it's
insane.
Like it's stupid. It's actually stupid.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at. So we broke the rules. We were like kind of like we moved down 3 fucking levels.
Everyone does. If no one's there, you go down there.
It was halftime. No one was there. No one was there.
I've snuck into a Justin Timberlake concert, but I don't. Who knows if he's a good or bad person? We don't know.
Who knows? Don't know. But we snuck in, and everyone around us like knew what we were doing, and they were like, "Oh, you're good. You're good. Thanks for traveling in and supporting St. Louis's economy by coming and watching our team." And we were like, and those are the best fans. I just remember one guy. I remember one guy who was clearly a pissed off, angry Rams fan for like obvious reasons. His team's leaving. They're losing. And the Steelers scored a touchdown. We're like, oh, fuck yeah, go Steelers. It was cool for us, lifelong fan. My dad's a fan even longer. It was really cool. So we're celebrating the touchdown. And he just turns and he goes, hey, I'll tell security to kick you guys out if you don't quiet down. And I remember being like, oh, dude, come on.
Yeah.
He's like, they let you in, but if I'm a season ticket, they all know who I am. I'm a season ticket holder. I'll get you all kicked out if you don't quiet down. And we're like, dude. And I was like in middle.
Yeah, I think you have to put up that part. I think especially if you're
like 14 or 15, like freshman or sophomore in high school.
Shut up.
And I was just like,
no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's dumb.
I was like,
especially to yell at a kid when I don't even know how to correct other kids, and unless it's literally for their safety. If I'm like, hey, dude, watch out. Like the only time. And
that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I know you were.
Way
Sorry.
too long.
No, it didn't. It was my fault. It did. We're like driving a car and I got a brake on my side. I keep fucking tapping
You're good,
it.
Dude.
But no, those kids. Yeah, it's like when another adult correcting kids for behavior is fucking stupid. Like
Insanity.
You're also an adult ticket holder. Like who's sports more for? I will argue all day. Children. Like all day.
All day.
If you're an adult who likes it, that's fine. Some people like Harry Potter, whatever. I just, but I like Harry Potter. Don't make fun of me.
Yeah.
Gryffindor. That's my home run.
Hell yeah,
dude. But no, I just think that like it's for kids. So like if kids want to, that's like part of baseball is like sneaking down and watching a thing and like fucking
it's
like
so
doing
much
whatever.
fun.
And if someone comes up and they're like, these are our seats, then kids being like, okay,
yeah,
we'll
no
go
problem.
up there.
I'll leave. It wasn't that thing. If it was something like, hey, these are my seats, we'll go back up to the fucking nosebleeds. No big deal. But like for him to be like, I will get you kicked out. Because security was even like, no, we know what's up.
Yeah.
Our team sucks. Our fans are boycotting right now. No one's here.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from tickets that cost like $90 a ticket to like $400 a ticket. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But like, we're not inconveniencing anyone.
No, and if you're a ticket, like it's like you're a season ticket holder, so like this should be an experience for you. Like, how funny is it to go home and be like, dude, these kids snuck down.
Yeah.
They watched the game. You could tell they're having the time of their fucking
so
lives.
much fun.
But yeah, guys have to have that power thing to stop. Which instead, if that guy would have just been like, hey, you kids are having a little bit too much fun. Like if that guy would have like somehow seen you, then when you're in his position, which you will be one day, and you see what's going on, you're gonna like bring the fun out of like them doing what they're doing instead of being like, dude, imagine if security came over and then the guy was this cool and he goes, hey, no, those are my fucking, I have their ticket. Why are you fucking yelling?
They're my nephews.
They're my nephews, whatever. Those guys are always cool. And then there's the guys who are too cool buying like alcohol. That's where it gets too cool. You can't be that guy.
Can't be that guy.
I remember guys like that would come back to like to parties, and I remember people being like, oh, he's in college. Like when you're in high school, and I remember being like,
no,
that's fucking lame. Like that's so lame that they're like, he can buy beer, and I'm like, then he should be hanging out with other people who are drinking beer.
Yeah,
like that's so weird.
That.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I've never really liked that power, that like thing or whatever. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever. I'm sure that there's some level where I like it.
Were
Like,
you ever like a manager at work? Were you ever like
bro? Fucking no, absolutely not.
That's funny.
Where would I ever have been in a position?
You said you were a fucking firefighter.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And I would like drive it, and I would like I'd be on the I'm like 64, 44. You know what I mean? I would I would be in charge like in that sense, but never like the captain.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like firefighters are one of few like, I don't know, like government
civil servants
that like never go like crazy with power.
They are I will say, because I've seen the level of it. They are the best. They're kind of like, but they are. It's like they're all horny. That's the thing. They're all guys.
That is the meme.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yes,
they are horny,
but they are usually the best dudes. Like I live across the street from
firefighters.
This dude now. Firefighters, fuck, bro.
It's the sexiest job.
It is the sexiest job.
Come on.
When 9/11 happened, policemen were also there. They didn't get they were not getting the same respect that firefighters was getting, for sure. But yeah, no, it's a cool, in that respect. It's very respected. It's very, very fun.
They just kind of, every time, there's a fire station in like Wrigleyville, right next to Wrigley Field in Chicago. And it would literally like, I remember like walking to the game and they had like, they brought the bench out and they were like bench pressing on like, just like working out, and like women were walking by being like, hey, hottie, like catcalling the fire. And I was like, but that's what they do it though.
Yes.
Those firefighters, they're just,
they're
they're
not
like
catcalling. They're just like, here's
like,
the biggest truck you've ever seen. This is the most expensive truck in the town.
Yeah.
I drive it after I'm asleep. Like
I
that's
work
yeah.
next to Wrigley Field.
Yes.
When they fucking hit a home run over,
Oh,
I
I've
grab
seen those
it.
guys. Yeah, those guys for sure. All the guys that are like in a downtown area just chewing gum, watching hotties walk by.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Dude, and like women are like, but women are into it. Like women
Yeah, that's
are
what I'm
like,
saying. They're not, because here's the thing.
'Cause you're the
Watching
coolest
guys
guy.
try to spit game is always really gross.
so funny.
Watching a guy, there was a I don't know if he's a comic, but I was just in one of the guys in Spokane we were hanging out with.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone get hit on harder. My buddy Sebastian,
sick.
shout out Sebastian, was just sitting there, and this girl was like, "Who are you?" And he was like, "Sebastian." She goes, "Like the fish." And I was like, I'm not kidding you. All of us around were like this. You're like, oh, like, because
guys
it's
getting
so
hit on is so
rare.
good.
It's so rare to get that the other way. Because also when you watch, even people you like, if they're really authentically going to talk to a girl after they've been like dancing or whatever all night, everyone's like, we're not gonna watch this because it's really uncomfortable.
Feels so
But when a
gross.
girl takes that, you're like. I've only seen it one other time in Philly. I can't remember the comic's name too. He was a good looking dude, but how he carried himself from a distance, you could tell. Across the street, this girl goes, "Hey, you," and he goes, "Me?" She goes, "Yeah, you're hot as fuck. Get over here." And we were all like, "What?"
So cool.
I feel like I'm watching like a star explode or whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy.
I did very rare. I don't think I've ever had success. Not that nothing comes to mind of like ever like hitting on a woman at a bar. And even if I try, like I've tried. Don't get me wrong, but every time you do, you're like, I was like, ugh. What was that? What did I just do?
I always feel weird. Yeah, the only time it's ever happened is if I'm like, I've authentically been hanging out with someone and we've been having fun, and it's a girl I still know now. And I was like, I didn't know her at the time, but I was like, hey, I literally hate doing this if that makes any difference. I go, can I get your phone number? She goes, oh my God, I'm here with my boyfriend. She goes, but that's very sweet of you. And it was no. That was the best. I didn't feel like that at all. I love honesty, and it made me feel good.
That is nice.
It made me feel good because even with my ex, I watched her one night get hit on because I told her, I go, dude, if you're getting hit on, have fun. I'm like, if you're making out with a guy, yeah, that's like technically cheating from where we're in. But I go, if you're dancing with a guy, getting hit on, talk to a guy. You don't have to even lie. You can just have fun.
That's a little too far for me.
I love it. But my point with that is,
I've gotten close to that. Though.
And the reason I'm saying that though is because I think if you have that like level of understanding and everything, I feel like we all find our way homes better. I really do. I think it works better. And I don't get jealous because if a girl's like, my girlfriend totally at the time could totally talk to anybody. And this guy started dancing up on her and she was just like, oh no, I'm sorry. And I watched him be like, and dance away, but I liked that he wasn't like crushed because she wasn't like, no, I can't. Because I'm like, that energy is so weird because we all are at a bar and you should be allowed to talk to people.
That level of trust in a relationship is so sick.
It's all I want. I'm not saying I could be in an open relationship, but I want to know when I'm with someone. I don't even want to have a glimmer of being like, oh, whatever. Like you just know them so much that you're like, in high school, I dated this girl, the girl who got me in the story of the year and everything. This girl, Erin. Shout out Erin.
I got a story after this.
Yes.
I'll hear yours.
And this girl in high school told me afterwards, girl, I lost my virginity too. You would think you'd be so controlling. And she goes, I was at a party last night and I spent the night and I wasn't allowed to go to parties.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I spent the night at the party and I slept on the ground. And this kid, Tyler, slept by her. And she goes, he looked at me and goes, if you weren't dating Bobby, the things we would do or whatever. And she goes, and I just like laughed. And she was like, we kind of like laid by each other and just talked. And I remember hearing that and being like, dude, that's so funny. That's so cool that he like respects me. We were just respectful because that's the world I want to live in. Like, I'm not a jealous guy. I don't get jealous like that. I get jealous if I do feel left out. If there is that's why I feel jealous. Yeah. If you feel left out, but no, I really want a person to feel free because I feel like people get in relationships and both people go down a gear when I only think it should
go up.
Even the same. Even if you meet each other at this really similar level, that's fine. But with the goal to go up for sure.
Trust.
But sometimes you'll meet people and meet someone at a lower level, and then you try to go down, and then you both keep bringing each other down.
Yep, I've had that. I've also the opposite.
Yeah.
When you both try to go down on trust.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I had
really
that.
Bad.
It's the worst. But I had the opposite in college. Senior of college, girl lost my virginity too.
Yeah.
Dude, it was
you lost
so
it in college?
Embarrassing. Don't even get me started.
Oh my God. It is bro.
Late in the game.
It's
late
fine,
in the game.
but it's not as cool
I'll tell you
as high
this.
school.
I've said this on other podcasts, but I turned down sex so many times before because I was just
That's
like.
great.
But I was like,
you were so scared of it too?
No,
probably?
not even scared.
Oh,
I was
so
just
scared.
like, I mean, there's attractive women who are like very interested, who like in hindsight should have. But I was just like, nah, I'm holding out for someone special. And
That's
this girl
great.
was gorgeous. The girl lost her, gorgeous.
I would never make
beautiful
fun
woman.
of that for anybody, and I mean that.
No,
but I also
listen.
love like fucking.
But here's this though. So same thing. Lost our virginity too. You'd think I'd be like really like whatever. We would go to the bars and I had no money. And I was saving up to move to Chicago. And I was like, I just have no money, but I want to take you to the bars. And she's like, don't worry. And she was like, I'll find a way to get drinks. And I was like, oh my gosh, you should just. And she kind of was like setting it up. And I was like, just hit on guys at the bar and get drinks. I'm cool with that. You get free drinks from other guys because she was so hot.
And she would like bring them to you?
She would literally do that. Dude, it was the funniest
Would she
thing.
do like the thank you and like kind of tell the guy to fuck off?
She'd be like, oh, thank you so much, yeah. And then she'd turn around and bring it over to me. And the guy would be like, duh. Like,
and then there's no move. There's nothing you can say or do that looks cool. Like you can't be like
she'd hit on a guy at a bar.
you can't like try to make that moment. Like there's no recovery from a girl. Like and it also like the only thing you could do is grab another one, come over and like cheers. Like be like, I see. That was cool. That's the only thing you could do that actually gives you a little bit of like redeemable properties.
Because she was just like, oh, I just wanted a rum and Coke. That's what I drink in college, was rum and
he's like,
Cokes.
I'll buy it for you. And that's what I like, because in his mind, he's like, this could go somewhere. And she goes, it is. We just both think somewhere else. And she's like, it's going to my boyfriend.
Yeah, that rum and Coke, by the way, I was
so
trying to buy was
funny.
for Matt.
Yeah.
And so we would go out all the time. So once I had this, the trust was so good. We'd be at a bar.
Yes.
I'd be sitting down, minding my own fucking business, or like playing pool, or like we weren't playing pool, but like I would go out and do something. She'd be like, I'm gonna grab a drink, and I'd be like,
You're like, what do humans
cool.
do at bars? Yeah,
And I would buy drinks a lot of the times, but at this point it was like such like the trust was so strong that we had, where I'd be like, I was like, oh, you want to get a drink at the bar? And I'd be like, I'd see her hitting on it. I'd be like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then she'd come by with a drink, and sometimes the guy she'd be like, I have a boyfriend. He's like, oh no, that's cool. I'll buy him a drink too.
Yeah.
Because they would try to overcompensate.
That's me. Yes.
And
Well,
I'd be
we
like,
do-
which is cool.
Which you do kind of overcompensate, because honestly, there are like part of hitting on people is meeting new people. Even a guy, a girl, a couple that's like friends, 100%.
Oh,
dude.
and sometimes they're
it's
like-
so fun meeting new people. I hate when we're at bars.
Yeah.
It feels like everyone we don't even have VR headsets on, but everyone's like, this is our part of the bar. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
Instead of at bars, it used to be like, what's up? Yeah. Oh, sick hat. Like dude, in St. Louis, the gay bars when I was coming up in comedy were so fun. And then I went out recently and they're fun, but it's like just pockets of like groups. It's not, it doesn't always feel like everyone like hanging out for fun, which that's why I'd go to the gay bars, because I can't, like going to sports bars is just not my vibe.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
I'm not even gay. I just like the vibe there better. I'm
get
like,
that,
drag
man.
shows are fun. Let's
Drag
go.
shows are fun.
Drag shows are so fun.
But no, dude. Yeah. Just getting free drinks from other dudes. And
Yeah.
the bartenders, by the end, like the bartenders, like I would sometimes I'd look over and it'd be like,
Yes.
she'd be doing it, and the bartender would look over at me like
Yeah.
you dog.
Yeah.
Like it was the funnest shit.
That's so fun. I love that.
All right, one sec. I'm gonna reset the cameras.
Do
you
it.
want to do one more 25?
I'm down to do whatever. It's yours. Because then, like you're saying, if you cut stuff up, you'll still have a long.
I have a call after 4:30 for something. Do you have a favorite coworker, or is it all? Were you just the main character?
No, when my first job, like at that restaurant, my buddy Devin that I was telling you about, we both worked there together. That was unreal. Like that was so fun. And our buddy Kevin and my friend, like it was like
Kevin.
It was like a group of us that would like all fuck around.
Yeah.
And then like afterwards we would all, because it was like a bunch of us that didn't really drink yet. Like we were all like,
How old are
other
you?
people were probably like when I started there, fucking 16, 17.
How old
I
were
drank
you-
more with
how
my
old-
dad.
how old
than
were you
other
started drinking?
kids. Probably like, oh fuck. Like legit first drink. And I might be wrong on this. I would say fucking real young for a sure
young.
sip. Can't even remember that.
First sip, young.
But then I remember like the first time I had a full rum and Coke, my
Yeah.
aunt, who God bless, she's not here anymore. Well, she did it. But yes, exactly. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, it was her idea.
Hey, don't make me a little tight. No, but
Wasn't
no, I
my
love her.
call, okay?
No, she would love the joke. But no, we were at a wedding, and even before this, I remember taking a sip of a rum and Coke. I
Yeah.
had to have been 10.
I loved rum. I haven't had rum and Coke in forever.
Yeah. I mean, either. It's like the first drink I did, I guess. But I would always have sips of beers at party. I could just go around and everyone let me have a sip,
Yeah.
which is fucked up.
Middle school or high school?
Child.
Oh, that's
child,
fun.
like little kid. And I would go around and I would drink everyone's
That's
beer
Midwest
a little
culture.
bit. Yes. And it's like,
Yeah.
you can have a little, everyone's giving me a little sip. So then I'm like, I want to cuss. Like I remember that one time everyone's like, why are you laughing? I go, I feel like cussing. I swear to God. I go, I feel like cussing. They're like, maybe we should cut you off. But no, so I had a rum and coke at a wedding, not kidding you. My family's wedding, my aunt was like, you can have that. And I was like, so I'm drinking the whole thing, and I'm not kidding you. I go out on the dance floor, and I'm dancing, and I'm not kidding you. On the way home, my mom goes, Bobby, do you know how many people walked up to me tonight? And they would go, your son is so fucking good at dancing. It's crazy. But I was just fucking drunk on rum and coke.
Yeah.
Like, I was just feeling it, like giving it my best Elaine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
fucking... Yeah, and I was having
on
the
the
best
floor.
time. But yeah, so I did that. And then the reason I do stand-up, I was drunk when I have to look it up, probably 13, 14.
Yeah.
Drunk at a college. My cousin had flunked, and so he had to move into college for summer school, and my dad helped him move him in, and I was with him in like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And we all started drinking. I got too drunk, and they're like, hey. And my cousin was like, here, listen to this guy. He just came to our school. And I listened to Dane Cook for the first time.
Oh.
And that, like, I had heard stand up a little bit. I'd heard
Yeah.
Ron White. I heard certain people. But the first time I heard Dane Cook, it's how people describe hearing their favorite band. I was just
Really?
like, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I was so 100% turned on by it. And I was like, this is the guy. Like, it really, and then in high school, because then people start, the energy and like, because I didn't even know what stand up was.
Yeah.
So hearing someone do something with that one person holding that much control,
So
it
cool.
was, I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And then I got really, really into him. I didn't even know what he looked like for years. I just had like burned
yeah.
CDs of his forever.
Dane Cook took over.
And I got to tell him that story, and he was like, you were drunk I was like, at a summer school? I was like, yeah, none of us should have been there. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's summer school, dude.
Yeah, at summer school. I was like, he dropped out. My dad shouldn't have been drinking with kids. I'm a child. Like,
Yeah, the whole situation.
But I drove through there the other day as I did comedy in that town. I was like, it was called Strawberry Fields. And I went
small
through,
town
I was
names are the
like,
best.
this is crazy. Yeah.
Strawberry
But that was my that was like my intro to drinking, and I drank a lot with my family, way
Yeah.
more than friends at the beginning, for sure.
I didn't drink with my family until 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
I started drinking.
That's when I started smoking weed.
I didn't drink. The first time I ever drank was like a day after I graduated high school.
Oh, nice.
Not-
I think
if
that's
not the
better.
day.
I think it's better to honestly waiting to do stuff is so
Wait,
underrated.
I think I think it is.
I think like, and honestly, even I'm trying to think of like when we were kids, like this is the worst we should have done is like, you remember when you would buy like the cigarillos with like a filter on them?
Yeah.
We would like light fires with those, and we wouldn't really smoke them in our lungs. We would just put it in our mouth. You're getting nicotine.
Yeah.
But it's like something like that is like devious. You're like,
Yeah.
like that's fun. But to actually be getting like fucked up as a kid, you're like, you don't ever get those years
Insane.
back of just feeling electric for no reason.
Yeah.
You wake up and you're like, I feel good. Like,
Yeah, you're doing bits.
It's such a, yeah, you're doing, and some of the funniest bits you'll ever do in your life are when you're a kid.
So true.
So, it's so underrated. I saw a guy the other day who I swear to God, the guy was like, he was checking me into a YMCA so I could shower, and he goes, oh, you said you're a comic? And I was like, yeah, I'm just in town. I just need to shower real quick. He goes, oh, you're not going to believe this. I went to high school with a comedian.
Oh,
and I
yeah?
go, who? And he goes, Todd Glass. I go, dude, I love Todd Glass. I think he's so
Legend.
fucking funny. Yes. And he goes, I'm not saying he wasn't funny. I'm not saying he wasn't funny. But there was a guy in school who was funnier than him. And you're like, there always was. But
There always
because
was.
In high school, I was definitely funny with people, but definitely not the over, like, there were so many kids funnier. There was this kid, Josh, at school, a grade
Yeah.
younger than me, still known. I texted him the other day.
Yeah.
He was in a band. He was in metal bands. That's what I
So
hung out
cool.
with. He was so cool. He was funny on a level I had literally never witnessed before. He was like the Adult Swim of our school. Like him and my buddy Mike and Dylan. He would do this bit when I'd walk up, when I became friends with him. I'd go, Josh, good to see you. And he would just fall down into the other line of kids walking this way in the hall and just start kids are all falling
So
over
funny.
a pile up. And he would just do it. He would just fall
That's
down and roll
crazy.
towards people.
That's insane.
I'm like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He would also do
Just
this
sober.
bit.
Just probably
He would-
stone cold sober. Just doing shit like that.
just doing all exactly. That's what he
So
said. He's
funny.
like, we weren't smoking weed yet. He was like, we really weren't doing that. And he would just walk around and do bits where they're like, Josh, you're late for class. He'd be like, why? I can't see anything. And he would just like just do that. My buddy Mike said he would do this bit where the teacher would get so mad he would just pretend that his arms would get glued to the wall, and they're like, Josh, your arms aren't glued to the wall. He's like, you try to get them off. And just like I I loved that shit. Like I lived for bits like that. Watch it. Like that's like my favorite shit. And that's what I'm saying. But like those guys in high school, way funnier than me. But then it's like you just decide like what you want to do, and then through time you learn how to fucking do something like that. But like I also think that like if you probably played guitar for a long time, you could have gotten good at that. Anything you choose to do, you can get way fucking better at.
No, I'm big on agreeing on that. I always get weird when I'll do a show and someone from high school will be there, and they'll be like, "You were always the funniest," and I was like, I mean, I was up there, but like there was like a dozen kids who were like
kind of everyone's funny in high school. Everyone's funny.
I thought I was funny, but like
even kids that are like nodding off that have problems we don't even know about yet, they were kind of funny. You know what I mean? They'd be like,
well, you know, I was a kid. I'd say something funny, and then someone louder than me would there's this kid I don't even want to say his name because I don't even know what he does now, but there was a million kids where I'd say something and then they'd be like, then they would say it and it would murder. And I was like, I should just be a comedy writer.
Nolan Corn, funniest thing ever. We were sitting there at football practice and one of our buddies said something funny.
Yeah.
And then our buddy, this is how far he went. He turned around and said it to this group, and he goes, "Yeah, it was funny when he said it over here." And I was like, "Yeah, you got to call those guys out." He didn't even go over there. He just turned around.
Dude.
I'm hacky. I'll repeat a bit. If no one laughs, I'll keep saying it till someone hears it, and I at least know that they will give some acknowledgement.
I was at the Comedy Mothership at the Mitzi's, the bar.
Yeah, that place is cool.
And someone came in, and
it kind of feels like a Star Wars bar. I like being in there. It feels like it feels good.
The social pressure is weird though. But a comedian came in. They're dressed a certain way.
That's everywhere in this town.
I know. But I had this killer roast, this dagger of a roast on them. And then more famous comedian, I don't want to say names here, turns around and like just says it. Says my line where he hears me, goes, "Oh yeah." Says it. The whole, like all of Mitzi's, because this person's bigger than me, says my line, murders. And I'm like, this is my autistic mind. I was sitting the whole time being like, that was my line. That was my line. And I couldn't drop it for like 5 minutes. And then I was like, "Oh, Matt, you need to drop this."
Yeah.
Because in the whole night, it was put it on like the mothership's like Instagram story was like people like making lookalikes of the lookalike. And it was like everyone was saying my line. And I was like, that's my line. Yeah. That's my fucking line.
I know.
And
it's just gonna happen. It sucks. It happened. It sucks. It does suck.
Because I could have been the cool guy in the bar.
I know, but who cares about being the cool guy? No one cares.
You're right.
But it does suck if it happens enough. Then eventually you're like, hey. But yeah, when you see someone do something,
well, it was high school flashbacks and being like, no, dude, that was me.
Yeah, it does. It does feel like that. You're like everyone's getting that laugh. Like even though me and Zach was the one who expanded on the bit.
Zach's his roommate, by the way.
Yeah,
Zach
my roommate Zach,
very funny
another comic. When he went on stage, it was just so funny.
Yeah.
To hear him do that bit and it's killing. I'm like, fuck. Like there's a part of you for a second, you're like, I could have made that my bit. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that competitiveness or trying to like steal. Like I even told them a bit the other night that you ever hear someone do a bit and you're like, it makes you think of a totally separate thing that's not even related to their bit, wouldn't fit in their bit. Sometimes I even feel weird when I write something down. Yeah. And then the other day I was sitting there and as I was feeling weird, I watched the guy completely edit a note on his phone and I was like, oh, okay. Because I don't know. Because I feel like we do have a generation that's trying to respect way more because we've been through those times of people being wicked disrespectful.
Yeah. No, it is fun, man.
Yeah.
You ever have you ever been in like high school or like growing up that you would do that like I would kill or like did you have like you had your funny friend right whatever Josh his moments did you have like the funniest kid in class moment?
No, I always feel like
nothing come to mind.
No, I would have like funny moments. Like I definitely was like the kid, like the teacher walked into class and I was like, I'll hide under her desk. I'm like jackass kind of funny. Not the guy, not with like saying I'm like, well, actually, fuck you because you make less than my dad or something like that. And the whole class is like, oh my God, that was good. No. I just like hide under the desk and then the teacher came in and she had a skirt on and I legit was like, abort. So I tried to get out and I was like, no, which scared her and made her slam like the fucking like pencil thing and then slammed it in my head. So then all of a sudden the whole class is laughing as they hear me go, oh, and like I get fucking hit on the head. And the teacher's like, I'm wearing a skirt. What are you doing, Bobby? But also she called me gay. I've been called gay by so many people at my high school. I was called gay by coaches, foot teachers I had and didn't have. Oh my God,
dude! Whatever. I don't want to. I don't want to get into this. I was bullied by teachers, way like meaningfully, generationally, like setback in life sort of bullying by teachers. so much more than I was other students.
Oh, yeah, those people are the worst because I could never imagine. I was a substitute teacher for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What?
And I know. I'd have so many
crazy.
jobs, and I would never think
Dude,
once
you're
to try to
unemployable.
look cool. I know.
Or you're, no, you know what? You're super employable.
I know, but like, yeah, it's bad.
I
It's
feel
not
like you would
good.
have been like 6 sub. I'm sorry.
I sound like a liar. Like once you start
Yeah.
talking to people, you're like, I've worked everywhere, man. Like we were
Yeah.
like, okay. Well,
No,
then-
same here. I've had a million jobs too. Some of
Yeah.
which I can't even talk because it's like too insane.
you can't even talk about.
Well, I mean, I worked social media for like a Duke basketball charity that raised $500,000 where I got a bike the continental United States. I was an extreme sports camp counselor. I detasseled corn, which if you're not from the Midwest, sounds insane if you describe the job to
Tasseled
someone.
corn.
Dude, worked
It's
at
like
a
when they
movie
start
theater,
fighting, you're like,
grocery
hey,
store.
hey, break it up.
But I mean, but similar,
You're gonna turn
you know,
into popcorn.
Yeah, did digital marketing for some really cool companies, like worked freelance. But when you describe like the career path that I've had of like, yeah, I worked at an extreme sports camp, and then I also biked the continental United States. People are like, what? And you're like, never mind.
Yeah. Well, some people just do one thing, and I would rather die.
I can't do that.
I've been so poor for years, and I'll take that and doing what I want
Yeah.
all day. And it's definitely not. It's their life's hard. My life's hard. Everyone has their different like struggles. Like even having a full-time job has the struggle of like, yeah, I have money, but I'm never happy, which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
To never. Do you know how many people have been telling me for years they want to do stand-up?
Oh, after every
and I'm
show.
like, do
if
it.
You, yeah, if you headline
Please
that club,
do it. People I know, they're like, I just want to get up there. I'm like,
do
just
it.
do it.
Just
I feel
go.
like a Shia LaBeouf thing. I'm like, just do it.
Go
Yeah.
do it. Do it.
It's for every.
jackass.
I don't know why everyone thinks it's like an elite thing, and I'm like, there's nothing weird about like wanting to do stand up once every 3 months, just because you think it's fun. Like I do open mics and play guitar, and I am so fucking bad at guitar and singing, but it's something I want to do, and I want
do
to
it.
be bad at, and it's something good about being bad at something that feels really rewarding.
Having the permission to fail from yourself is huge.
Yeah. And everyone else respects it too. When they know you're actually trying and not making fun of the thing, people will help you and give you tips.
I love the people, and you're right. These are some of my favorite people in comedy. Especially when you're on the road, is that I think I love these people where they're like, oh no, this is a hobby.
Yeah.
I'm doing this one. I'm not, because I mean, you never want to say this to someone because it's the meanest thing you can say. But there's some people where like, I started in Des Moines, Iowa, where I'm like, this is a hobby for you.
Yeah.
I want this to be my job.
Yeah.
Can we draw the line here? You do this because you want to get drunk on Tuesdays with your friends at this open mic.
Yes.
Or Tuesdays and Thursdays you want to get drunk. I want this to be my job.
Right.
We're not, and that's fine by the way. But acknowledge that this is your fun sense of community, artistic,
Yes.
output. But don't be mad at me when I'm like, okay, I love that you view comedy like this.
Yeah.
I'm at this.
Yeah.
I want to headline clubs nationwide. I want to get TV credits. I want to work with bigger people. I want to do theaters. I want to be doing this every night I can.
Right.
2-3 shows a night. Shitty open mics. I want to write all the time.
That is the world, and that's what you have to swim through the guys that are just like,
But-
but I want to be here and do whatever I want, whenever I want. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, but those people, there's kind of like the casuals.
Yes.
But there's two types of casuals. I'm just gonna call them casuals. That's a mean thing to say. But there's the
Yeah, it's
casuals.
just we can call them people.
Yeah.
No, I like civilian. I do
But-
like civilians.
Okay,
but it's
casual
weird 'cause
comics.
it's
Casual
casual,
comics. There's two kinds. There's the kinds of casual comics that know they're casual comics, know they're doing it for a sense of community, and they're the best.
Yeah.
They're the best. I love them. There's the other kind that are in denial that they're just casual comics, and you're
Yeah.
like, dude, you're blackout drunk at every Tuesday open mic. You're not moving up in this. You've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah, there is a time where like a comic that you're like, hey, it's cool if you don't take it seriously, but they're sitting in the back and they're like, this guy sucks, and I'm like, the guy that's on
Letterman.
multiple, yeah, the
Yeah,
guy,
or
like,
whatever.
What are you talking about? They're like, I don't really like his punchlines. I'm like, what? Tell me one of yours. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
It's
But
like, look, you can be
yeah.
a casual comic and do it and be bad at it. And
Yeah.
like, if you know
But
that
also
and you're
those
okay
people,
with it,
but also I get what you're
amazing.
saying. But like, if everyone does take it seriously, but also it does build up the whole world a lot. If there are just people that just casually do it, because then when you like,
But that's what I'm saying.
you know
I love
what I mean?
the
No, I don't
casual
think you're
comics
saying
that
shit
know
on
that
it.
they're casual.
Yes,
Those are the best.
I do see the difference. What you're saying. You're saying the someone who a casual comics who thinks they're like, no,
Yeah,
I'm a comic.
who are like the gatekeeper. They
Yeah.
always turn into the gatekeeper. They're
Yeah,
always
they
like
are the
worst.
meanest ones.
That's what I'm saying. Those
The
when
meanest ones are people that I've tried to vouch for that were like, they say I'm too alt, I can't get in here, and then they get a room and they're like, nah! You're like, oh my god.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we're on the same page. I
Yes.
feel like
No, I get what you're saying now. At
'Cause
first,
you
I
can
did
be a casual
miss it. Yeah.
comic. If you're a casual comic and you're doing it for the love of it, those are the nicest, happiest, best people.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, there's a guy at St. Louis
Love
that
them.
said that. He's like, he had a manager had repeated this. They were like, he's like, I just kind of want to like start hosting, and maybe if I like topped out at like, if I could like regularly feature here at this club, That would be fun. And the manager was like, that's so cool to know yourself. Because I also think you have to do that.
Know yourself,
throughout levels,
exactly.
for sure. And one thing I think is funny is I think it's weird to watch people be like, I'm a fuck it. That, like, I do agree with that. Whenever a casual person is like, I'm actually a feature now. And I go, dude, I literally headline places and I hosted the other day. I was like, I don't like Casey Rocket the first time when I came to here and saw him.
Love him.
Oh, who does? He's so fucking funny. And watched him headline at Creek and Cave. And then the next day did a 4:30 hosting job. Like, the sun is still way in the sky. And had a great set. Definitely was like, had to host. You know what I mean? Isn't like, I'm blowing up so much I'm not going to do this. Like, that's what I like about comics. That when we do it is that you do it all of it. Yeah. And then some people think that they're just like, they have these laser things. Like, and also people have these panics too. Where I feel like it's not even just in stand-up. Yeah. People have these panics where they're like, I have to have everyone know like that I'm important. Yeah. And that's so never going to happen in stand-up. Like, you think about the biggest comic you know, their special comes out, everyone pays attention for a second, and then we're all like, what's going on again? Everyone, like, none of this stuff's matter. We got to treat each other right, but everyone feels like they need to be important. I'm like, just fucking be part of the hang like we were talking about. It's 50% hang.
Be cool. Just be cool, please.
If you're cool and not funny, you can figure that out. But if you're funny and not cool, I don't know how you figure that out. What happened to your camera right there? It's like all fucking...
Oh, what the hell?
Check that out.
And, well, I guess this is a single cam podcast now.
Yeah, dude. The angle I like.
It's okay. Do you just want to do plugs?
Yeah, let's plug it up. Let's get plugged up.
Where do you find you?
Bobby Jaycox at everything, website, Instagram, all of that stuff. I have a special, Fast Food Fireworks. Check that out.
It's on YouTube. I'll have YouTube. I'll link to it at the end.
Yeah, please do. And just come see everyone live. If everyone goes to see live stand-up, we'll be able to do this forever, and it'll be the best world fucking ever. Thanks for having me on, dude.
All right, bye.
Bye.